Hey VC, it's Basie here. And right now we're in my office, my music room, not my record room. Obviously you see CDs, my old buddy, my late good friend drum set, my vintage JBL L100s, some of my guitars. This is where I work here, just to give you a little idea. Don't get dizzy. Today I'm going to talk about Verve Jazz, not a definitive thing about original issues, but it's sort of an update of a video I did early on in the VC, at least early for me, 6-8 months ago, when I didn't have a lot of subscribers, and I was shaking martinis at the same time. And this is talking about some great Verve reissues and expanded LPs, all analog, from the 70s. And I want to showcase these because I've expanded my collection a little bit. I want to show some of you that didn't see that video. So let's walk into my record room, which is just over here. Many of you have seen it if you've seen my whack-a-moles. I'm going to situate you down. And what's nice about this series, it's vinyl that you can buy, I think still fairly cheap and good quality and all analog. Instead of buying reissues of this stuff, well, I don't want to say instead, because if you're a collector, you want original covers, and that's not what this is about. But these records are amazing, and I'll show you in a minute. But again, this is a book I did showcase at one point with some other books. It's about a $40-50 book, give or take, Verve, and every record collector who's into jazz should own this book. It has the album covers, featured artists, everybody from Stan Getz to Ella Fitzgerald to Billie Holiday to Diz and Prez, and wonderful stuff. The Jazz of the Philharmonic. Verve label was started in I think '56 by Norman Granz, and it's amazing. I'm a big Charlie Parker fan, and next year is going to be his centennial, so there's going to be a lot of reissues of Charlie Parker music in the next year or two. Well, starting probably this fall into next year. So 100 years of Charlie Parker. Great saxophone player. A lot of you I've been seeing some Stan Getz, the whole bossa nova thing, but anyway, we won't talk about that right now. But let me show you some of these records. I'm still trying to get them all. I don't have every single one. I think I'm going to have these in alphabetical order. What's nice about these were 2 record sets that came out from 1976 to about 1980. And that was a time that I worked in record stores and in the record business. And I saw these come out, and they didn't get a lot of love. You've seen them. You've seen these in every used bin. I find that most of the time that these records are actually in great shape, rarely played a lot, and fairly cheap. Most of them are double albums, and most of them have extra and unreleased tracks, alternate takes and things. And the kicker, all these records are mastered by Robert Ludwig. So you can get these for anywhere from $8 to $20, which I think is great for a double album. So all of you people who are into jazz or dipping your feet into jazz, dipping your toes into jazz, you should check these out. I'm going to go through them sort of quickly. They tend to be the older stuff. I know there's a big kick here, and everyone's like, having orgasms over all the great original Verve, Impulse, and Blue Note. Not to take away from that stuff. This is a different thing. This is stuff from mostly the 40s and 50s, for the most part, and even some to the late 30s. And it's fantastic music. It's some of my favorite jazz music. Dizzy Gillespie, Ben Webster, Lester Young. Those are some of my favorite horn players. And so I'll just show you these. I'm not going to talk about the music really. Robert Ludwig, all analog. So this is Count Basie. I'm going to show the inside unless there's pictures and things. So there you go. Roy Eldridge. Yeah, I'm going to skip the inside. It's mostly liner notes. But but great liner notes. People like Leonard Feather and other jazz writers. Very extensive liner notes. Bill Evans. You all love Bill Evans. Great illustrated covers. Stan Getz. This is a single LP. Dizzy Gillespie. I don't know if you heard my Getting Stoned with Dizzy Gillespie story in 1978 at the Monterey Jazz Festival. Such a great jazz story, right? Another one. Oh, this is good. This is Diz and Getz. I don't know what to say about it, but it's a really good one. African Cuba Jab. Okay, this is the stuff, you know, Dizzy Gillespie is one of the guys that popularized it, but this is 40s and early 50s recordings with Machito O'Farrell, let's see, Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, Chico O'Farrell, Machito. Great stuff of Afro-Cuban jazz if you kind of like that genre. This also is a single disc, and some of these, this is actually, I have some white label promos that I got back in the 70s. So I think I have about 5 or 6 that are my promos that I received back then, but I pretty much pick them up all the time. There's a lot that are clipped, so I guess they didn't sell as well, especially something like this. But this, the Modern Jazz Sextet, Dizzy Gillespie, Sonny Stitt, John Lewis, Percy Heath, Charlie Parsip, and Sleater Best, but kind of bizarre cover. But any of these you can't go wrong with, so I would say check them out. Johnny Hodges, this is a great one. Of course, Billie Holiday, and there's several volumes of some of these, like Billie Holiday stuff. So, you know, you can find originals that are a little scratchy, and maybe that's great because some of the covers are amazing. You can get reissues, but what's great about all these, you know, they're all analog, and they're really good, well-mastered records. So again, I highly recommend these. Do I have to say that again, Basie? Wes Montgomery. When was this stuff recorded? Oh boy. I think this is like early 60s, something like that. Oh, 65. Yep, 65. So they go up to the 60s in some cases. One of my favorites, again, as I said, Charlie Parker. This is Charlie Parker. Bird and Prez, Jazz at the Philharmonic. So all these are excellent records to get. This is especially good, this one. Charlie Parker. You know what's great about it, you could see that the illustrator who worked on this, and I should have his name handy, I blew it. He made different panels that he pulled together and they use on different records. So as you see Billie Holiday singing on this. Obviously this is not a Billie Holiday record. I don't think she, this is sides with Dizzy Gillespie, Thelonious Monk, Buddy Rich, Curly Russell. This is Parker's first recordings for Verve. Again, really wonderful a series of records. The Norman Grant section, these are the Charlie Parker sides. This is a copy that I still have, you know, see, they were double records, but pretty much the price of one record, maybe a little more, a few cents or 50 cents more, $1 more. As I recall, we sold these for about $6 or $7 maybe, back in 76 or so. I worked in the stores in 76 and part of 77. Then I went out and worked for ABC Records. So I was able to acquire some Impulse stuff then. That's when ABC had Impulse before MCA, Universal MCA acquired us and laid us off. And then I got rehired by MCA for a few years and then got laid off again. Typical corporate conglomeration, right? The Genius of Bud Powell, another really, really fine record. You know, Bud Powell's a great pianist, and who else is on this? We got Ray Brown and Max Roach. and then Buddy Rich also on some of the sessions. So another one. You know, again, you can't go wrong with any of these, and maybe you should kind of look them up and play some bits on YouTube or wherever to see what things you like. But this is great stuff. Now, my favorite artist, one of my favorite, aside from Lester Young, well, Ben Webster. Great sax player. And this is with Coleman Hawkins and Oscar Peterson, Herb Ellis, Ray Brown, and Alan Stoller. That's what I was talking about the illustrators panel. And as you can see, in this painting, some of these were used on the different albums. There's obviously the Ella Fitzgerald. There's Dizzy Gillespie with his center horn rising. There's Ben Webster. You know, beautiful artwork too. Not your traditional thing, but again, from the 70s, all analog. You don't have to worry about the source material in terms of reissues. And again, if you've been watching my videos, there's been a lot of these jazz reissues for $20. You see, $22 brand new, cool cover art that are, you know, on, what is it? Doc, is that the thing? Dope imported, and 180 it says, big 180 on it. I think those are just basically records from CDs. So, and again, I'm not against digital always, but I think you can do better, and I kind of stay away from those. Another one, this is again Ben Webster record. This was a promo I got in the 70s, but this stuff is with Teddy Wilson, Philly Joe Jones, and Ray Brown. Some great sessions as well. These sessions, see when these recorded, I don't know, so I'm not going to tell you. But I have a whole, every time I find these, and I can't find, in fact, I'm going to reach out to you VZ people. If you can find a full catalog list of all these that were released from 76 to I think in 1980s when they stopped, maybe 81, but I think it was 80. These twofers, these Verve jazz reissues. I can't find a complete catalog of these anywhere. And I've done, you know, Google searches and things, so I would love to have it because then I can see what to look for. Obviously, sometimes I go to eBay or Discogs, and I'll do Verve Jazz 1976 or 77 or 78, and I'll find things. This is another great Ben Webster session. This is a single disc with Oscar Peterson, Ben Webster, Ray Brown, Ed Thigpen, and this one came out. The reissue came out in 1980, and yeah, Norman Granz. He's recorded by Norman Granz and Creed Taylor. You know, Creed Taylor later started CTI Records, which has some great stuff. Some of you think they're a little slick in some cases, but you know, CTI had another great style, great feel, great cover art, photography. They licensed a lot of great images from some famous photographers of the day. But okay, I would keep saying this. Ben Webster's my favorite, but Lester Young stuff is amazing. Bebop stuff. This is before hard bop, bebop. God, he has Jeepers Creepers on here. But on here is Lester Young and John Lewis on piano, Bill Clark. John Lewis, you probably know from Modern Jazz Quartet later on. You know, there you go. Lester Young. The 5 brilliant small group sessions featuring Prez with pianist Nat Cole. So Nat King Cole, my favorite. Highly recommended is Nat Cole, the Mosaic box. I have the CD box. It's 18 discs, all the complete Capitol takes. Amazing. I want the record box set. I think it's 27 LPs, but it goes for $600-700. It's way out of print, so way out. Expensive. But the CD is fine. But the CD, I think, box is also very expensive. That's kind of a sidetrack off the Verve thing, but those Capitol sessions are just amazing. That's on Mosaic. But the Jazz Giants of 56, Lester Young and Roy Eldridge. Kind of a cool cover there, Lester Young. You know, Lester Young, pork pie hat. Goodbye pork pie hat, as they say. Is that Monk that wrote that? Or Mingus? I'm blanking out right now. I get my Monks and Minguses confused, and they're nothing alike, really. But one of them wrote buy pork pie hat for after the death of Lester Young. So, of course, I should know that. I should know the history of that, and someone's going to write it down here in the comments. But, again, another great cover, another great album. Masters of the Piano. This is more of a comp, and this has, well, these are Bud Powell's recordings from 1955, and Mary Lou Williams, Dizzy Gillespie Orchestra, Cecil Taylor Quartet at Newport, Paul Bly with Jimmy Griffith 3, Wynton Kelly at the half note, Bill Evans at Town Hall. So kind of an overview of great Verve pianists here. There you go, another wonderful painting that was split up for various... why do I have to stick my face in here? You don't want to see my face. You want to see the record artwork. I think that's a pet peeve, and I got to get better at it too. And some of you... a wonderful, just a criticism, but constructive criticism. Hold the record up so people can see it. First of all, I should take it out of the shrink, right? Hold the record up so people can see it for several seconds. Because I think all of us, myself included, we do this too much. We want to show the fucking record. We want to see the record. We want to see this beautiful cover, not our faces. And lastly, the historic recordings, Jazz of the Philharmonic. Now I have, get out of here. I have the complete CD set of this on Verve, which is really amazing. This is a great comp, and on this is, I mean, oh man, Billie Holiday, and Billie Holiday session on one side of this. Illinois Jacquet, Shorty Chirac, Nat Cole, Les Paul is on. Wow, Les Paul's on this. I didn't know that. Red Calendars. Anyway, Lee Young, J.J. Johnson on trombone. Again, with great liner notes by Leonard Feather. So, as Basie fades into the sunset today, Verve Records. Let me recap. Verve Records, reissues, double records, most of them issued in 1976 through 1978. Verve, which is I think distributed by Polydor. These were $7.98 lists. That's right. So we would sell them for anywhere from $6 to $7 in our stores back in the day. You can get them for under $20, maybe even less, probably. Pick them up. They're all analog, and they're all mastered here, and it says it right in here by Robert Ludwig. God. Cover art, Stanislav Zagorslad. And the reissues were prepared by, Robert Hurwitz did some of the reissues. Robert Hurwitz would go on to be the president of Nonsuch Records and make it a really kind of great label too. So that's Basie's look at Verve reissues, Verve Records reissues that, you know, if you don't want to spend the bucks or don't have the bucks or can't find great copy of, you know, wonderful versions that are fairly inexpensive, I would say this is it. Buy these reissues. So Basie loves you, and if you have any questions or comments, Adam, thanks for subscribing, and Basie loves you. Take care. Bye.